Hello, you're welcome to the show. And there are three things that I hope we've learned from the game versus Celtic. Now, it was a drubbing. There's no other way to look at it. 4-1 defeat. The preseason game is still a 4-1 defeat. But the only thing you can say is we're still learning Enzo Maresca's style of play, and hopefully it comes good when the season comes around. Now, three things we've learned, or we should learn, or Chelsea as a club should learn, or Enzo Maresca himself should learn from this game. One is that Mark Guiri, or I'll just say Mark, is very, very good, very, very decent, and should be kept in the team and not loaned out to Strasbourg. I'm not saying he's the Messiah. I'm not saying he's the second coming of a hybrid of Harry Kane and Lewandowski. But what I'm saying is he's very good for the system. He presses very well. He makes those runs, and many times wasn't rewarded with, very accurate passes during the Celtic game and even the Wrexham game as well. So he's very good, and he looks to put the pressure on teams. And sometimes he was the only one doing the pressing, against Celtic yesterday. So he should be kept, and I think he will come good. That's one thing I hope should be. I think one thing we should learn, and I hope that's one thing that Enzo Maresca has taken on board as well, and that's in his notepad to say, Mark stays. That's one. Now, what your thoughts are on that? Let me know. For me, that doesn't mean not signing another striker. It means he should be part of the squad. Even if you sign a more experienced striker, Mark Gui should stay in the team and learn off him, and he'll become better for it because I think he has a lot to offer and could offer us a lot this season, especially with the Conference League coming up and as well in the league coming off the bench. So, but for now, very, very good. The way he pressed, the way he ran in behind, we made it uncomfortable for the defenders, and was just unlucky to not to have scored. I know that very good chance was very unlucky not to have scored that goal. So for me, he stays. Second thing that we should learn is that positional tactical dynamism is very important. Now, I've seen so many people criticizing, the tactics. Oh, inverting fullbacks is a problem. Why would you invert fullbacks? The best way is to play them, have them overlap. Now that's good. We have pacey fullbacks. You want them to be able to overlap and go on either side, and make the field bigger and stretch the pitch with their pace, especially if you're playing with inverted wingers like Noni Madueke, Mikhailo Modric, um, Raheem Sterling, and the likes. You want to play, you want to have the wingers invert. You need to have your fullbacks, overlapping. But one thing I want to say is, and Enzo Maresca said it in a quote, I think after the game yesterday. But for me, I'll just paraphrase what he said. I'm sure you must have seen the quotes on Twitter, X, or another social media platforms or news platforms as well. So essentially, what he said is, on the ball, we look decent, and to be honest, on the ball, we looked okay, not superb, but okay. We looked like we were creating chances, but off the ball, now that's the problem. That's where the problem lied. We didn't have the uniform press, in my opinion. We didn't see everyone in front uniformly pressing the ball. And then when the Celtic players were now on the attack, people didn't fall back into shape, into their defensive shape. And now when people are going, oh, inverted fullback, that was the problem. No, because for every tactical expression, every tactical, formation, every formation in football, every style of play, you have what is called trade-offs. You want to achieve this and you're willing to sacrifice this. For instance, you have the Barcelona sides that Pep that brought this whole tiki-taka play out from the back thing into play. They had their own trade-offs, which is who overlap with our fullbacks, Dani Alves, one side, and then maybe sometimes Eric Abidal on the other side, overlapping. They had all these players, all these fullbacks doing the overlaps. But one way that teams were able to circumvent what Barcelona were doing, even under Pep, which is arguably one of the best managers ever, or some people say one of the greatest managers ever, was let them attack you, let them push players forward, let the fullbacks, go high and wide And then in the space left behind them, we'll pump long balls behind them and have our wingers take advantage, of the team that way. Even for the Liverpool side, even the Liverpool side that won the league under Klopp, high intensity, choke the midfield, make it difficult for you to breathe as an opposition defense and midfield. So even when you have the ball, you don't have time on the ball. They crowd you mentally and physically that you don't know. You sort of don't have time to make the right decisions on the ball and they win the ball back. Now, that is a trade-off. That's what they're looking to do. But same thing, hit them on with a quick counter, or if you're a good, very, very good passing team like a Man City, you bypass the press, and you have very few people at the back. And then if you're going towards Trent Alexander-Arnold's wing at right back, you know he's not the best of defenders. Very good on the ball, but you know he's not the best of defenders. So for every tactical formation, for every football tactics, for every footballing philosophy, there's always a way to outwit it. There's no impervious tactical formation football philosophy. There's none. It's just how you execute on a day and how consistently you execute over a season. So that's what we should be looking at, how to effectively execute, execute better than we did yesterday. On the ball, uniformly press. When you have, off the ball, uniformly press. When you have the ball, quick passes and quick movement to drag the opposition out of position, and then sometimes saturate the passing at one end of the field and open up the other, and then you can take advantage of those places. And especially, there's one thing we've not quite seen yet, and that is exposing the wings, which is essential to Enzo Maresca's style of play. Expose the flanks, pass, expose the flanks, create those isolations between the wingers and the fullbacks of the opposition team, and then attack and put in crosses to the box, low, hard, short driven crosses into the box, cutbacks into the box, and you have your on-rushing midfielders and your strikers taking advantage of that. And at other times, in those isolations, your inverted wingers are able to use their skill, beat the fullbacks they've isolated against, and then score goals themselves. So executing better. Now, the last thing for me in terms of what we learned, or what I have learned, I've known this for years, but what I hope Enzo Maresca sort of learned in this game is no more centre back at fullback. It doesn't work. It will not work. It will not work. Because except in some exceptional circumstance where you have, some ridiculously amazing athlete, has pace, he's big, he's tall, but he plays a centre back. Except in such a circumstance, you have such a ridiculously gifted athlete. Then you can say, okay, play at left back, play at right back. Because he can match the pace of the wingers. But when you have a Colwill, play him at left back, you're doing me a disservice, because even the most average winger with pace would skin him alive. That's just about the matter. And when that happens, he would have to drop, and in response to that, or trying to, in a bid to avoid that, he would drop deep. He would have to drop deep because he wouldn't want to be beat for pace, and then you lose your advantage in the midfield, and then your high pressing would not be as potent. So the same thing. Tosin Adarabayo, tall, good on the ball, reads the game properly as a centre back. Should play centre back. Should not be playing right back. It's not going to work. Wesley Fofana playing at right back. It's not going to work. It won't work. You have Vega. He is one of those amazingly gifted athletes. He has the pace. He's strong. He's 6'3", so he's tall enough. You have him play left back and let Colwill and Tosin Adarabayo play in the center of the defense, and Reece James plays at right back. And then when you play, you have positional dynamism, which is going back to point 2. Positional dynamism. When you have the ball, this is how you stand. When you don't have the ball, this is the shape you take. There are essentially two shapes in football. The first shape is when we have the ball, how do we set up? When we don't have the ball, when the opposition team has the ball, how do we set up? So those are the three things I hope Chelsea should learn going into coming against in Club America and then Real Madrid, and then of course Man City as well, and then play Man City at the start of the first game in the Premier League. So I wonder what your thoughts are. Let me know in the comment section below. Do smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell as well so you're notified each time I post a video. So at this point, I've come to the end of today's video, and I hope you have a splendid rest of your day and you stay blessed.